Feno's threats and also getting a very timely Blast Master boom as well. So I think in the standard deviation, Feno will be in a much better spot in this series.
Game number 3 is underway. Brawl and opening hand for Bunnyhoppor, I think pretty likely to be kept. Although tempo seemed to be an important facet in this game.
And I think that's the benefit of playing a deck like his tertiary deck, which obviously has double BGH, double Super Collider, double Brawl, is you have such redundancy of removal. You have so many board clears and a strong single target removal that maybe you can just hit the curve cards because you know you are so likely to hit the removal later on.
I am quite interested in that because I have, admittedly, I've taken a step back from the Bomb Warrior play and just focused a lot on Control Warrior since it's something I really anticipated a lot of players bringing this week, and just Bomb Warrior was, far and away the pick. Bunnyhoppor mulligans the whole hand away. And I think if you're not going to hold on to Brawl, I agree with that. I think you should be firing the whole hand away and searching for your Super Colliders, your Elix, your Clockwork Goblins, your Wrench Calibers.
I agree. I would also throw... Would you agree that Dr. Boom goes in that mix as well? I think it's good enough to throw down later on because, again, like I said, you have so much removal early on.
It's kind of interesting. Like, the Brawl has me quite curious about the mulligan because I feel like you brought in a second one. It's a super powerful card in the matchup. But you do need to find the actual pinpointed removal as well.
Okay.
Like a single giant is still a threat.
And so, well, that is what I mean, is that early on, Brawl is not that good. It's better saved for later, right? When they go for a Khadgar plus Power of Creation or something like that later on. Whereas turn 5, Super Collide is way better.
You're thinking rather than be forced to use a Brawl early on,
save it for when it's really good.
You'd rather risk not drawing it so that you could have it later on.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think it's so likely that he finds some kind of removal for the mid game that he doesn't need to keep the slightly suboptimal early game card of Brawl as a starting hand.
Feno, frustrated with the pace of play from Bunnyhoppor.
He's an impatient guy. It's fair to say.
Well, get ready to roll your eyes again then. Now that we've got that attack out of the way.
That was always happening. Yeah. You know that one's coming in.
That's my favorite part of playing Hearthstone with somebody as we're playing the same game, is we go into turns, we go, well, we always know this is happening, and it's like the most obvious thing. And then you figure the rest of the turn out, which always ends up in a horrible mess because you're in that mindset of this is always happening.
Yeah.
It goes downhill real quick.
Yeah. So for Feno, he has obviously the capability to set up for a giant on curve next turn. Counterspell and AI are both pretty juicy, actually. I guess because he doesn't have the Conjurer's Calling in hand, he really needs to turbo through to that. But I don't know. I think Counterspell could have been very powerful.
This is a tough spot. I think I personally take the AI as well.
I think I probably would as well.
My debate is the coin. Do I coin the Arcane Intellect here?
What to do?
So
you're floating 2 mana.
Yeah. I mean, well, you're pinging a 1/1. It does something, right?
Is that really anything?
So I think
then you're occupying 3 mana next turn, which means you float a mana.
Right. But I think the problem is that the coin is going to be very likely very valuable in this matchup. Like we saw, turn 6 in the last game, he did nothing. He basically just floated the entire turn, just playing out a Banana Buffoon or some nonsense. So being able to coin into an Astromancer on a later turn could be very powerful indeed.
I think it's just the fact that his hand is just kind of bad. Like, you just need something here.
Yeah.
And for Bunnyhoppor, it's pretty rare that I just want to jam down Omega Devastator because I love holding onto that card, but this is the spot.
You like just tempoing out?
Oh, yeah. You have Ziliax in hand, you have Super Collider, Militia Commander, Dinomatic. Like, where are you going to lose tempo this game if you stick a Ziliax onto an Omega Devastator?
It's true. What does that go up to? 7 attack?
7/7 Divine Shield.
That's true, actually. So if you go Omega Devastator here, Ziliax to magnetize onto it, and then the 1/1 as well, perfectly takes out a giant.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that a lot.
Sometimes chill when Yeti. It's just good enough.
Pretty chill.
And I think Feno here might be forced into playing a giant.
So how does it shake out for him usually? If he gets hit with Big Game Hunter, obviously he's miserable.
Oh, well, he's just dead then.
Yeah.
Sometimes...
Okay, do you think if you were to just cover up your opponent's hand there and pretend that you're Fenomeno, do you think you ever make the read that Ziliax is in hand? Does the tempoing out of the Omega Devastator indicate that there's a Ziliax in hand?
I think it opens the possibility more, like in a weird technical sense, but I don't think you have a solid enough read to really make that distinction. Like, Bunnyhoppor had no opportunity to play Ziliax, and it's very likely he just plays the Omega Devastator anyway. You're not doing anything. You just coined an AI, so, you punish that with tempo.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I agree with you.
I think he's got to go for Giant.
He could go Evocation, Giant, Mirror, Image, which protects it against...
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, traded into with minions. Or Ray of Frost. Ray of Frost.
I like the Ray of Frost, because the Mirror Image will discount, technical discount to Sea Giant.
Yes. Okay, yeah. You want to save that for a little bit. It does play around the Ziliax very nicely indeed.
Oh,
doesn't play
boy.
around that, though. And this is
huge draw.
the quickest turn you will ever see Bunnyhoppor make in your life. That is a guarantee.
Oh, my. Whoa. Huge game hunter.
Leave this man's game. You are uninvited.
That's just not fair.
Yeah.
Good luck.
He could have gone like Mirror Image Giant.
I think like, you got to try to pop off here. I think if here it doesn't happen, it's not happening this game.
Oh, he can still put. Yeah, sorry, he can still play the Giant on this turn, just with the Sorcerer's Apprentice put in as well. Like, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's just like, look what just happened. Like, you got to do something here, or you are not winning the game.
I knew that the BGH was going to come off the top. Felt it in my toes.
Deep in those Darrock bones. That's what they call him. They've been calling him that for years.
Old Darrock.
Darrock Bones Brown. Darrock deep in the bones brown. There we go.
Not sure which one sounds more suspect, to be perfectly honest.
And this is a good spot for Fino also to make a development push like this because of the way Bunnyhoppor's some of the removal interacts. Like, you think about board tension against some other matchups, for instance, where the chip damage is going to be massive.
Yeah.
In this spot, the chip damage is mitigated because of the Mirror Image. And at the same time, if Bunnyhoppor's interested in just clearing out a Sea Giant, it often means that, Brawl is the way to do that. Brawling here is not good.
Yeah, this is the perfect spot for Fino to kind of hide his Giant behind these pesky little taunts. And, I mean, who knows? If he can get a Conjurer's Call off of Arcane Intellect, whoa, this could be the swing that he needs.
What's happening here? What shenaniganry is this? How?
Wow, I did not see that play. That was sick.
That was sick.
That was way better than Brawl, because Warpath is not a very good card in the matchup. Brawl is. Really nice play there from Bunnyhoppor,
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, and to be fair, Brawl sucked in that spot, but he found a way to utilize Warpath in a situation where I thought he was just going to have to, kind of sling it back and just go, well, if you're going to muck up the board, I got to do the same. Instead, he mitigated the board pressure.
It did suck, but it was tempting, because you know that stuff can go wrong if you leave a Sea Giant out. But I guess the way that you respond to that is by just playing Brawl.
And now Bunnyhoppor's, gassed a bit.
So what does he do?
He might not do anything.
Hero Power Pass?
I mean, your opponent has just completely dismantled your assault.
Yeah.
I don't think that Ziliax or a 3-4 is really bringing the beats at this point. I think you have to start thinking in defensive measures here. So maybe you can Ziliax as a preemptive play?
Because it's very often the fact with Conjurer's Call that the minions are not quite the same size to be killed with Super Collider, right?
Yeah.
You need a little bit of extra helping hand to get over the finish line, and because obviously he could not play 2 5-mana cards next turn, like you said, preloading the Ziliax, I think might be a good way to make sure he can always kill whatever comes out with a Super Collider.
I must choose. Unity, precision, perfection.
Wow.
That was quick.
That was super quick.
I thought that was like an alarm bot effect that was triggering like before the turn ban had even gone away.
And you mentioned it, the minions are not necessarily the same size, and so it needs that little bit of oomph from Ziliax to get this done. Super Collider the 3/6.
Yeah, works out beautifully. And you can even just fit in the clockwork goblin as well.
Ooh, I wonder if there's any merit to not using the Clockwork Goblin. Although I suppose if Fino played Sea Giant, you're happy with that, given you have the Dynamatic to pay off.
Yeah. So wait, if you have 2 minions on board, yeah, that perfectly allows it. I think you're just fine then. Yeah, you just trade in and Dynamatic. But it's an interesting point. You could save it for a potential Doctor Boom as well, where every single minion is just removal. But by playing it here, it kind of sets up for a removal next turn.
And Fino certainly is going to be interested in Harrison Jones this turn.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Which, it's worth saying, he would get another one off after he plays Hexalord Malakras for if the other Super Collider comes down.
Okay. So he gets to clear off Ziliax here.
It's not the worst.
The Curio Collector, I believe its name is. +1/+1 whenever you draw a card.
Yep.
Not going to be able to stick around for too long here. However, now we're seeing a very different game with Malakras where, you know, this board state has stayed fairly even. But
it's just ahead, right? Like,
well, not necessarily. I mean, he's taken 3. There's bombs in the deck and Dynamatics adding to the board.
okay. Yeah, okay.
So I think you're in trouble, but I think that you can get out of it is really the key factor here. You know, Bunny's pretty gassed.
He needs that boom. Either one,
Boom,
to be honest.
Omega Devastator. Yeah, Blastmaster.
Light the fuses!
You know, we're reaching the point where Big Game Hunter and Super Collider still may be enough because of the tempo pressure. Oh, boy.
And to be fair, if Fino doesn't roll, if he rolls double Mountain Giant, assuming here, sorry, that he goes for Giant Country.
Well, what else you got to do in this
okay.
spot?
I just wanted to clarify my point. If he was to get double Mountain Giant off of that, we could actually be entering a state where Bunnyhoppor could go for surprise bomb lethals.
All right, well, now the stage is set.
What now?
So you pretty much always start with Shield Block, I'm thinking. Unless you want to save that for powering up the Shield Slam.
I'm thinking about a lot of different things here, and the first one that comes to my head is, can Bunnyhoppor afford to do close to nothing this turn? To me, the answer is yes and no, where the no side of it is you don't have really the backup to get this done.
Yeah.
So I think you do start with Shield Block. And so now that's happened, the question is, what are you going to do if Fino does not really do much on the back end of this? He says, you know what, this is just enough. Bunnyhoppor didn't respond to this properly. Hit you for 15, draw some cards, go. That's a bad scenario for Bunnyhoppor. He needs to find a way to have the Brawl swing the game in his favor, or it's not going to work, and that means Brawl right now.
He's just hoping this works out. We've already seen it once today where it worked out very much in the favor of the Brawler. This, however, was not such an occasion. That minion surviving is absolutely massive for Fino.
And we talked about, oh boy.
Okay. Okay, calm down, buddy.
One huge draw deserves another.
Oh, so do you ever consider going Malakras here just because you're in a good state on board? So if you ever want to play that,
Look at the Conjurer calling turn, the Lunas with it.
Yeah.
It's insane. Your opponent just rolled. Just rocketing to space right now, and there's nothing Bunnyhoppor can do about it.
One thing we can definitely agree on is that this turn absolutely needs sound effects. It is of that caliber.
Yes. This is a sound effects turn if I've ever seen one. Well, sizable draw.
A medium-sized draw. Medium-large. So what are we hitting? If you hit the one in the middle,
If you hit the one in the middle, it
has a chance of hitting the giant. Do you prefer that?
That's an interesting question. It might just not matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you hit the other one, If you hit the one on the right, you can always clear both of them.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I meant like in terms of like hitting the one in the middle. Like, its attack to either side doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think you always want to be able to clear it.
Yep.
Light the fuses!
Wow!
Whoa!
Wow! It's not quite supposed to happen that way.
That's so good. I mean, like...
And now Khadgar gets drawn after the Conjurer's Calling gets used.
Okay.
We got a game here.
So for the Malacrest, there wasn't a Conjurer's Calling in the starting hand, I don't believe.
Mountain Giant, Elemental
Harrison.
Evocation, Harrison, and I want to say Mirror Image.
I could believe that. I'm not even... I think the Mountain Giant might have been the first card he drew after his starting hand as well. I think. I remember him getting it off the top. But either way, the Harrison alone would be huge here when your opponent's just got Super Collider.
Fino's interested in making a push.
Ooh, Khadgar Power of Creation.
That's
the backup.
That's a good reason to make a push here as well. Is you have 2 Mana Cyclones to just like fuel some stuff, and then you also have the benefit of digging closer to your Power of Creation. And so Counterspell, the lone spell found. And that's a pretty major deal.
It is, but Fino needs to start be thinking about not only his own development, but just dying here. If he goes down to 10 health from 13, that's just 2 bombs needed to close out this game, full stop. But even then, he's thinking, I'm not playing around that nonsense. I've just got to kill my opponent.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. That's a full clear.
Well, do you need to full clear in Bunnyhoppor's spot? At least 3 damage is getting sent to the dome.
Okay.
Because you need to set up for the double bombs. That is a portion of what your deck does.
Do you need to?
Fino's got 7 cards left. I think you need to.
Okay.
IMHO.
Thank you for your honesty.
In my honest opinion. It definitely doesn't.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah. So Bunnyhoppor is thinking of exactly splitting image there.
Yes, and he was also wondering about Counterspell to counter the Warpath, because he could have gone for a Warpath line of play instead. He knows it's not Ice Barrier, he knows it's not Vaporize. He's allowed to just put this face if he wants.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Okay. He's safe for the moment. He gets to make his play. Which, as we can clearly see, Fino is loading up.
I mean, that may be the last turn that Bunnyhoppor actually gets to attack face as well.
The gates are open.
We like those taunts.
Wow. And there's a counter spell in place.
Yeah.
The gates are open.
Off of the one spell that came off of a Mana Cyclone as well. And obviously for Bunnyhoppor, even if he gets another spell to let the Warpath go, it wouldn't be quite enough to clear off all these 5 health minions.
It is a lot to clear off, though. So Shield Slam gets to absorb the effect from the counter spell. You Warpath 4 times. You get to kill 1 with Dynomatic. You get to Super Collider the other 2.
Do you need to Warpath at all? If you just Super Collided 2
What
of them,
now?
Shield Slam another one. Oh, you can't kill Khadgar. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's
Okay,
Shield
okay.
Slam on a 6/5. That gets counterspelled. You have 9 mana remaining. You use Dynomatic to hit one of the 6/5s. You Super Collider 2 of them down. You Warpath 4 times or 3 times, however many is necessary. Which I guess it's 3, and that fits in an armor up.
Okay.
So if that's the case, you could technically armor up first.
So from Bunny's perspective, it could only be Counterspell or Spellbender, right? So either way, if it was Spellbender, actually, it was better to go for Warpath, obviously, to clear them all off first. But playing around the Counterspell absolutely correctly, as he does.
Well, I'm curious about it because I think that in Bunnyhoppor's spot, yep, this looks right to me.
Yep.
You just hope that the bombs pan out. For good measure.
Why not?
Mana efficiency.
Let's have a little fun.
Banana Buffoon
My
Astromancer.
calculations are flawless.
9, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 damage represented, plus the arcane missiles. Dr. Boom Mad Genius gets drawn.
Off the top. But that's the worst hero power. So how much damage are we looking at then?
22. I count
16,
22.
18, 19, 22. I agree.
22 is lethal.
That's exact lethal.
Are
No
you
way!
kidding?
Exact lethal.
Because of Banana Buffoon. Because of
Here to save
Banana
the day.
Buffoon.
Not the Core Hound, not the Astromancer, none of that nonsense. That monkey banana boy is here to save the day.
The monkey made the Core Hound. Unreal Pheno. That's a close game 3 that happens there as well. 2 of those 4 cards in Pheno's deck.